Blacks in Technology.
Blacks in Technology. Blacks in Technology. Blacks in Technology. Blacks in Technology. Blacks in Technology.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Blacks in Technology Big Tech Talk podcast, the show where we talk to people of color who are engineers, innovators, educators, inventors, entrepreneurs doing amazing things in the world of technology. This is the podcast where they share their stories, experiences, ideas, knowledge, and perspective on tech with the big community. I'm your host, Greg Greenlee, and we are broadcasting right now, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if this is your first time listening, you can check us out at the following URLs. We're at www.blacksintechnology.net. You can also find us on Twitter. That's at Black in Technology. That's BLKINTECH. NOLOGY. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/Blacks in Technology. Also, a LinkedIn group. You can look us up under Blacks in Technology. You'll find us there as well. If you're on Twitter right now, if you have questions for our guests, tweet them to us using the hashtag BitTechTalk, BITTECHTAALK. If this is your first time checking us out, we welcome you to the show. And if you've listened to us before, thank you for returning, and thanks for your support. So Blacks in Technology, we're a tech-focused community and media organization. We're focused on increasing diversity in technology through increased visibility and participation of people of color in tech. We always focus on forming new partnerships and opportunities to assist our members with their continued professional growth and development. So if you want to partner with us, if you want to sponsor one of our podcasts, just send an email to us at contactus@blacksintechnology.net. All right, couple of announcements. There are a couple of new jobs that are on the jobs board. Zapier, or I think that's how they're pronounced, is hiring for an API engineer. It's a remote position, so you can be anywhere in the world. And Princeton University is hiring for a CIO of Service Management Office in New Jersey. You can also check us out on Slack. We do have a Blacks in Technology Slack channel. Just check out the Blacks in Technology site and do a search for Slack, and you'll find the invite link there. We are up to almost 530 members right now on our Slack channel, so definitely join us there. A lot of lively and interesting conversations going on. What else? Oh, Startup of the Week. Our startup of the week this week is IntelliFunda. They're a software company that designs mobile tutoring applications that is working to help alleviate the angst associated with practicing and mastering subject matter. So you can check them out on our site. They're IntelliFunda, and congratulations to them for being our startup of the week. Tonight, our guest is Kory Campbell, and the subject of our podcast tonight is Inspired to Code, from HBCU grad to full stack developer. Kory Campbell is a front-end specializing software engineer at ByteCubed, located in Washington, D.C. He graduated from Florida A&M University with a bachelor's in quantitative analysis, and he's also a recent graduate from the General Assembly Web Development Immersive program. He recently attended Google I/O 2016. We're going to talk to him about that, and is an avid technologist. He's a resident of Washington, D.C., and he hopes to inspire more black youth to enter into software development. So I want to give a little context. Kory reached out to me on Twitter, and he wanted to share his story with us because he said he has a unique perspective on technology and the way he got into it. Like I said, he's a recent HBCU grad. Studied quantitative analysis, and now he's a full stack developer. So I'm really interested in hearing his perspective and his experiences in technology. So welcome, Kory, to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
No problem. Glad to have you here. So let's get into your background. Tell us, we know you're from Washington, D.C., so tell us, a little bit about your education and everything.
So, I'm a product of the public school system. Went to public school pretty much my entire life. Went to a magnet school when I was in middle school, and that was the extent of schooling that was outside of the public school system. Mm-hmm. I went to school at Florida A&M University, which is a public school in Florida. HBCU, and I think that's where I found, I guess not calling, but just it kind of made me grow from a boy to a man. I really give Florida A&M that power. I would say, but yeah, just pretty much I have a path to schooling where pretty much a lot of people go through. So
Interesting. Okay, so you migrated from Washington D.C. to go to school at Florida A&M University, and while you're there, you go through these life experiences and everything, and it helps mold you as a man. But how'd you
right.
get into technology while you were there?
Well, honestly, to be honest, I was always into technology. I remember, being 6 years old, being at my grandmother's house and taking the phone cord from the phone and plugging it up to the modem, like me being like 5, 6 years old, and no one teach me how to do this, and no one taught me how to do it. So from then, that was a point where I was always interested in technology. I was always interested in going to, the space camps and, opening up books and reading about Bill Gates and, these different people that was in technology. So, I always had an affinity towards tech, and, luckily I'm working in it now.
So was there, besides that experience that you had at, visiting your grandmother, were there any other influences along the way that helped, kind of keep that spark going? Anything in high school, anything in middle school?
Honestly, it was really just me being a quote unquote like nerd of sorts, just
Okay.
always breaking down things and building things back up, just taking things apart. I always had like an engineer like mentality. So I just was lucky enough to have an interest in this kind of stuff. So, it wasn't really any outside forces, I would say, that really, taught me or gave me like a path to say, okay, you probably should do this. It was more so
Right.
me doing what I like to do.
And what was your first computer?
Oh man, it was like a compact Rosario, like old fat computer, like like Windows 98 or probably even under than that. Oh, matter of fact, actually, I had a Macintosh Apple II. That was my very
Okay.
first computer. Yeah,
I remember the
I used to play
compact.
the little games on it. Yeah, I
Ah,
remember. Yeah, that was my second one. But yeah, I used to play a little floppy disk and play with the little, choose your own adventure games on the Apple II. So that was my introduction to computers.
gotcha. Yeah, I
Yep.
definitely remember those compact Presarios. They were like cinder blocks. They were so big.
Yeah. Right.
Nice. So, you're at Florida A&M, and you decide on a degree in quantitative analysis. First, I have no clue as to what quantitative analysis is. So tell us what quantitative analysis is and why you chose that particular degree path.
Right. So quantitative analysis is under the interdisciplinary studies program at Florida A&M University. So basically, you pick a base major, say
Hmm.
business or science or journalism, and you really pick that base major. You go through the prerequisites for that major and take a little bit of business courses, but also you're able to choose courses on your own that are kind of balanced with the base major.
Hmm.
So that's what quantitative analysis is. I kind of had a business background, and I was able to get into that program. From then, I was able to pick computer science courses like C programming and web design, and
Right.
even just like creative courses as well. I took a drawing course, art courses, music courses, and then all kind of like melded together and went to that one major.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went to an HBCU institution, and I've
Mhm.
read articles here and there about um, HBCU students not being technically prepared to work at some of these top tech companies. I just read an article recently where I guess Google is doing this thing where they're actually sending um, um, some of their engineers to some of the HBCU schools in order to kind of get them prepared for the rigors of of landing a job at one of these top tech companies, right? And one of the things that he mentioned was that that the students weren't 100% prepared the way that other universities, are preparing their students. What is your opinion, since you've been through some of the curriculum? What is your opinion on the current curriculum being offered, and what advice do you have on improving it if it needs improvement?
Yeah, so I would have to disagree with that statement. I
Okay.
mean, I can understand what he may be coming from, but he hasn't been to FAMU. I don't know what schools he's been to, but he hasn't been to FAMU. At
Okay.
least with FAMU, I could say, and it's probably just like any other HBCU. Like I feel that like the students there they can learn and um, they have the wherewithal to be able to learn this stuff. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to learn how to code. Of course,
Right.
you do learn theory, right? Going through a computer science program or these kind of things that you can learn. But I can't say that HBCUs can't keep up because honestly, I think in many situations and throughout my work experience, we probably hustled harder than everyone else that went to like a different school that wasn't HBCU. So I definitely think that we're prepared. And if not, like the thing about HBCUs is they'll teach you not to be last. Like they give you that fire to be first. So honestly, I think we definitely could keep up. I don't know who we talk to, but I think we are definitely would be in the running. Pretty
Right.
much
Right.
any HBCU that's out there.
Got you, and that's good to hear. Because you know I get into this. I guess I read these articles, um, and I have a sort of a disdain for what these articles are trying to portray or what they're portraying, right? Because uh, being the founder of Blacks in Technology, I've always wanted to inspire people to get into tech, right? And a lot of these articles out there are, in my opinion, kind of a little bit counterproductive, right? They talk about uh, what people don't know, or what companies aren't doing, or they're not going to hire you, and those type of things. So it's good to hear a different side of it, and not from a side that from the valley, or from that side of it, but for someone that's actually been to attended and graduated from HBCU college, to sit up here and say, we work harder than everybody. And as a matter of fact, they instill that in each one of us to work and outwork everybody
Right.
else. And there's nothing out there
Right.
that we can't do and we can't achieve, because that's how we're, quote unquote, bred to be at these HBCU
Yep.
colleges. So I like hearing that, because that provides, inspiration for the next person. And it also sends a message out there to say, hey, you know, and a lot of it is coming from the valley, and it's saying, hey, you're not looking deep enough. You're not looking at enough schools. Then, if your perspective is that HBCU schools don't have what it takes, or they're not preparing their students the way they should be, then you're not looking at enough schools, and maybe you need to come to Florida, Florida A&M, and take a look at us.
Right.
So I like that.
Right.
So what
Right.
quantitative, and what made you decide to get into coding? How'd that occur?
It's so crazy because people ask me that all the time. Like, how did you like learn this stuff? And what did you hear about it? I have no clue. All I do remember is being on Facebook, just go on Facebook bored one day, and I think I just went on codeacademy.com and said, hey, let me just try this out real quick. I just heard about coding. I used to always read like news articles. I used to go on TechCrunch all the time,
Right.
Big.com, Reddit. Like I'm always like very like into that kind of stuff. I was doing that
Hmm.
since high school. So, I was reading a lot of articles about coding and, this next big thing or whatnot. And,
Right.
I always took a C programming class. When I was younger, I read, HTML, CSS books. I played with the MySpace layouts growing up in high school,
Right.
So I went on codecomedy.com and just kind of just jumped into it, really taught myself. The very beginning of it, I taught myself that stuff. And then afterwards, I applied to a scholarship at a Telegraph Prep, which is out in Oakland, California. It's called Telegraph Prep Academy, which they teach minorities coding. So I got a scholarship there for their prep program, which is a 4-month program where it takes, people who don't know nothing about coding and teach them the basics. So I got a scholarship there, and I did that remote during the summer of last year. So that would be my start, I would think, official start of coding. Yep.
Okay. And well, I mean, what's your initial experience with code? I mean, you jumped into it kind of brand new.
Yep.
For some people, you can jump into coding and it can become kind of daunting, right? Because it's it's a foreign language, really, and you have to learn. You have to constantly practice it in order to become fluent in it. Some people get discouraged by that when they first start because they don't feel like they're moving the needle that much. What was your experience like, and how did you kind of gauge, where you were at?
To be honest, I was really excited. So, I mean, I was really confident in, learning it because I wanted to learn it, regardless of the fact if no one would have taught me how to do it, I would have done it myself. So I wouldn't say that I was scared or nothing like that or daunted by it at first, but I can see it is very difficult just jumping into it, thinking that you have to be a rocket scientist to know it. Or if you don't get it the first time, then you're wrong or you're slow. No. Like, it took me a long time to learn the basics. Just even afterwards, like, it is something that you have to work on. It's like you're riding a bike the first time. It's hard the first time, but afterwards it gets easier and easier.
Right.
So, as a first time like learner, I was just ready to just go. I was all gas, and just going all up. That was just me, ready. So.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think another thing too that people should know is that you're not going to have all the answers all the time, and even the most expert people have to refer back to their notes, so to speak, every once in a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I work with a bunch of engineers, and these are some smart guys. We deal with web scale. We deal with applications on a web scale, right? And you would think that some of these guys who have been in this position for a number of years would automatically know answers to everything, right? And it's just not like that. They have to ask their colleagues. They lean on their coworkers every day, for something that may seem simple or something that's a little bit more complex. But that's the nature of technology. And I think a lot of people get intimidated because they think that they have to come in and they have to know everything, right? I was working with one of our DevOps engineers the other day, and we were working on something, and I asked him a question, and he was just like, "No, I don't know, man. I just Google it," right? And I'm just like, "Oh, okay." And and he's one of our top engineers, but it just goes to show you that everybody that people don't know everything, and people have to rely on other sources for information and knowledge from time to time. And if you go into learning to code with that type of mentality, and it's really about getting kind of the concept of coding down as opposed to knowing every syntax of that coding language, right? And it's really about more of the mindset around programming than it is, getting the syntax together.
You have to have the heart of a lion to learn this stuff. You got to be fearless,
Right.
That's why I think you got to be successful. You have to be fearless because you're going to be learning stuff over and over and learning new things repeatedly and failing a lot. So if you're not, that's what I would say to new learners. Don't be scared. Just do it. And if you fail, okay, it's cool. Do it again.
Right. Right. Exactly. So tell us, you go into this immersive program called General Assembly. Tell us about your
Mhm.
experience with that, and kind of go through, why you chose this over other, coding boot camps. How did you prepare, what the curriculum was like, and things
Right.
like that.
Yeah, so I would say number one, I was really, really, really blessed. So first of all, I just got finished with the Telegraph Academy program, prep program that I was telling you about.
Right.
And this was around August, I believe. I came back up to the DC area to live with my parents for a little bit. Um, but I knew when I started that Telegraph Academy program that I was going to get into boot camp. Like I was going to just try my hardest to get everyone I was trying to get into. And I was applying to different places, and I was getting feedback. But I got the interview with General Assembly first, so that was in D.C. and it made sense for me to come back, and have my base there. Went back to D.C., had the interview. They gave me a small coding challenge, build a website,
Mm-hmm.
come in for an interview, we'll do like a little challenge, whatever. I passed, and I got accepted. But then they tell me it's 14 and some 12 some $1,000.
Right.
And I'm thinking like, okay, how am I gonna do this, right?
Right.
And like I said, I think coding is for me. I was blessed for it because like maybe a week afterwards, I got opportunity scholarship or opportunity fellowship, which paid for the total amount of the boot camp. So I didn't have to pay nothing for general assembly, which is why, which we go into why you chose it. That was the reason why I probably chose that program because it was paid for. But
Okay.
I was really glad to get that fully paid off, and I took advantage of it. Um, the coursework was divided into four sections. Well, the first was going into JavaScript, basic HTML, CSS, basic JavaScript. Second one was Ruby and Rails. Uh, the third section would be like a group project, and the fourth section would be the build up of your own. The experience was really, really rigorous. It was really, really challenging. Like probably top five challenging things I've done in my life. Because of the work I put in, also because of the work that required. So, I used to wake up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, catch a train to DC, be at DC learning from like 9 to 5, and then staying there until like 10, then coming home. So I used to
Wow.
do that every day for like 5 days. And on the weekends, I would just study on my own. So it was a really challenging program. It's not for everyone. If you don't have time to, dedicate 12 weeks of your life to live like that, you probably shouldn't do it. But I definitely would recommend it to anyone and everyone that has the chance to do it because it really was an experience that was really like life changing for me. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. And
And
also,
go ahead.
no, I was going to tell you like how I believe I became successful at that program. The reason why I was successful. Um, basically, like I really, like I said, going back to the HBCU mentality and mindset, I just told myself like, hey, I'm gonna be the best in the class. It was a class of like 30 people, I think, 20, 30 people. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, no, there's no way no one's gonna beat me. I'm like one of four black people in the class. It's like, no one's gonna beat me. That's had a mentality. No one's gonna like not do better than me in this class. So that's why I also spent an extra hours there on the weekdays and on the weekends. Just really doing the best I could. Even though there was, to me personally, like it was way smarter people in that class, smarter people than me, like way more intelligent. But like I just decided like there's no way no one's gonna beat me. So I believe I was successful from the program. Everything that they wanted from the graduates, as
Right.
far as engagement into the tech community, a career afterwards, coming back and teaching other people. I've done all those things. So I would say that I was a success, and the reason because of that is because of my hustle during the program.
I think that's for one, that's very inspiring. And
Yes.
just hearing you talk about that experience and the dedication and discipline that you put into that reminded me of that. I don't know if you've ever seen that video. that Will Smith video where he says the reason why he's able to beat everybody is because he's willing to die on a treadmill. And
Yeah.
he goes on to explain, like, you may be better than me, but if we get on a treadmill, either you're getting off first or I'm going to die on this
I'm a
treadmill.
die.
Right.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
it's just a testament to his work ethic and his dedication to anything that he does. It's not just, and I don't think he was saying that in context of acting. I think he was saying that in the context of life, period. He looks at things and those
Mhm.
challenges in that same manner, and he says, I'm going to take this head on, and I'm going to win. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat whoever. I don't care if you are a classically trained actor. I'm going to do better than you. And looking at his track record, he does. So obviously he's doing something right. But I can hear that same type of mentality from you when you're explaining your experiences. You basically are saying, looking at everybody in the room and said, you may be smarter, you may be smarter, you may be smarter, but I'm going to outperform every last one of you. And that's what it takes. If you want to be successful, not just in software engineering, but in life, period, there's some stiff competition out there. You have to show that level of
Yeah.
dedication. So I love hearing that from you.
And I also want to interject real quick. Even this, I want to rewind back to say that you were smarter than me. That comment that I said. So that's what I believe, during the class. But then, what comes up when you get that mentality in your head and you say, okay, you might be smarter than me, but then you start doing the work and then you realize that maybe you're not. They probably aren't smarter than me. I think I might be
Right.
smarter than them. You start getting that confidence and say, hey, yeah, oh yeah, I can do this. Wait, then they start coming to you. See,
Right.
then you become the smart person.
Right.
So it's really like a sense of this. You gotta have that mentality. Say, look, I'm going to go hard, like 100% at this. And if I'm good at it, I'm good at it. If I'm not, I'm not. But no one's ever gonna say that they did better than me or work better than me. So
I
that's all
love
that
that.
is. That's it.
So what advice would you? I mean, you kind of told us a little bit about some of the things you did to overcome some of the hard parts of class. You stayed late.
Mm-hmm.
You worked hard. What other advice would you give to others attending a boot camp? And would you recommend boot camps to other people?
Okay. Um, so I'll ask the second question first. I would definitely recommend a boot camp to other people. I mean, the amount of content that you learn within those 12 weeks, it will probably take you maybe a year or so to learn the same amount of content, and you won't be learning it as fast or as in depth. Um, I mean, you're going to be teaching yourself, and I was surrounded by people who knew what they were doing, like teachers who knew what they
Mm-hmm.
were doing and they had experience. So they could tell me what I was doing wrong. Even with coding, you might like try to do something coding like a little bug, and somebody else can look at your code and say, hey, you're missing semicolon, and then your code is right. It's the same way with learning. You might spend like 4 weeks on it, but the person that knew it already could teach you in maybe like 2 or 3 days. So,
Right.
I mean, it's something that I would definitely recommend to everyone and anyone who has the opportunity to do it. It's very costly, very expensive, and you have to dedicate the time to it. So if you can
Mm-hmm.
do all those three things, go for it. But I will say you have to have a passion for it. Don't do it because you only think it's a lot of money in coding and technology. You're going to hate it. You're going to hate it, and then you're probably going to quit. And then you're not going to learn as much. You waste your time. So you really have to have a passion for it, or at least find a passion for it, and then just work hard at it. And the first question you had was, what it
What
was?
advice would you give to others wanting to attend a boot
Oh,
camp?
oh yeah, just like honestly, success from a boot camp depends on you 100%. Like you can't blame no one else if you fail or not. If you don't learn the stuff, it's on you. Um, don't go into it like there's some boot camps that offer you like job opportunities afterwards, which is good because you're paying a lot of money. But at the end of the day, you might get that job. You can't fake your way through no interviews. You have to really like know this stuff.
Right.
So once you go there, literally dedicate those 12 weeks or however long it is to do nothing but coding. Don't go to your friend's house and party. You really don't have no time for that. You really have to put your mind through that learning program and learning a whole everything for however long that is and rededicate yourself. And, and this really decide. And then also another advice would be like, don't give up. Like, it's hard for everyone. There's no one that I've ever known that says, okay, I'm learning this coding stuff and it's easy. No, it's hard for everyone. So don't get discouraged. Or like you're probably gonna build something that's crappy. It's not gonna be like flashy immediately. You're not gonna understand how everything works together, but one day it's gonna snap and click. And then you can say, oh, this is the client, or this is this is the program. Like, oh, let me learn. Oh, I like this more. It's gonna click one day. So just keep going at it. Don't give up.
Very good advice. I like that. You're telling people to not give up, and even if it seems like something that's too complicated and that you're not getting right away, just keep at it because it'll click one day. And I go through that even as being a professional systems engineer and being in IT for over 15 years. It's like you're going to come up against these things where it seems foreign to you, and then one day your mind is always working subconsciously, right? You take the information in, it's kind of like a water hose, right? And it seems like it's too much. And you're just like, I'm just not getting this. And then as time goes on and your mind is processing this information in the background, one day it automatically clicks and you're just like, oh, okay. But if you quit ahead of time, before you process it, you're never going to get to that point. So I love that bit of advice there to definitely keep at it.
Right.
So you're now a software engineer at ByteCube. Give us a little bit of insight on how you got that job and what the interview process was like.
Yeah. So when I was at GA, I was really hustling like super hard. So I applied to like so many jobs. I had a spreadsheet full of jobs that I applied to. I used to like literally like cold call some people on cold call emails, and go on Craigslist.com or Reddit.com and all these different Indeed.com and apply to every single position that I saw that I felt like I could do. Every single one. And I used to log it on a spreadsheet. So when ByteCube had called me, I was still in the program. I had maybe like 3 or 4 weeks left to go. And, they were telling me that, hey, they were having an open house. They were going to invite some engineers to go to, junior engineers and designers. I went there. This is like probably second week before we were done. Second week, and I went there, had my interview. It wasn't that technical. It was very more so like an aptitude test. Are you intelligent? Do I think you can hang kind of test? Which they thought I was a pretty good person and pretty intelligent, and at least could speak my way through it. So I got an offer like the week before I finished class, I think. Or either week before or the week right after. So I think I was like the first or second person to get a job coming out of General Assembly. But, like I said, that I attribute to all like me hustling. Like I had like three or four other interviews, I think that same week. I was having like 3 interviews every week, at least, I think, for like 3 or 4 weeks straight. So I was really like grinding, like really hustling. But I ended up in the best situation, I believe. ByteCube they just really set me up perfectly. Right, so, yeah.
Nice. And I like hearing about your persistence. A lot of people, I've even ran into people within the bit community and who are out there looking for jobs and they might run into 1 or 2 people saying no, and then they kind of give up a little bit. But you sound like me when I went from help desk to being a systems engineer, right? For me,
Yep.
it was every interview process to me was practice. right? It was
Yep.
me preparing to
Right.
finally land that one job. And if you said no, then I know I need to go back and practice some more. I need to either get back in the lab,
Mm-hmm.
work on my craft, and I need to work on my interviewing. It wasn't a no, you're not built for, the tech world. It was just go back and work a little bit harder and come back, stronger. And
Yep.
that's and
Right.
that's the type of persistence that I hear in your story as well, is that you were doing everything possible to at least set yourself up uh, to get these interviews, and then in the process, if you didn't get these, then it's on to the next one, and then it's on to the next one. And you say you
See,
had you were doing three or four a week,
I had
so
motivation though.
yeah.
At least I had motivation though. See, I was staying with my parents, and I didn't want to be in that position. I knew when I graduated college that I wasn't planning on going back to my mother's house. I
Mm,
wasn't, and I was not trying to stay there. I was staying with my people, my parents, and I was not trying to stay there. And I literally, the moment I started that camp, there was no way I was going to finish without a job. I've had it in my head. There was no way. So I was really just hustling to prove to myself, not to prove to myself, but like, hey, it's hard now. We might be in like a rough situation, but it don't matter. Like, you gonna get out of this. So I just had that mentality. I didn't have a losing mentality. I was gonna win from whatever situation I was gonna put myself in. I knew I was gonna win. I was gonna come out good. I just had that in me. So
very nice.
that was probably the biggest motivation, probably. Yep.
And so tell us a little bit about what your job function is at BikeCube, and what a typical day is like for you.
It's pretty cool. It's an agile shop. So basically we go in, I'm working on a, big project, have different tasks. We go in, we have like a morning stand up every morning, for about 15, 20 minutes, talk about our code and talk about what tasks that we are assigned to for the
Hmm.
day. I come out, and if I need to talk to some of the back-end guys, I do that. Or if I talk to some other front-end engineers, I'll talk to them about what they think is the best thing for me to do. Um, then I go in, sit at my desk, put my headphones in, and zone out, and just start coding, and start working, start thinking, you know.
Okay.
Um, so that's pretty much it, It's really relaxed, really it's a cool environment, nice environment, ping pong table and stuff. Typical tech company. But it's definitely something that I'm enjoying so far.
Excellent, excellent. And you recently you attended Google I/O this year.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about your experience attending it. Like, what, for one, let everybody know what it is in case there's people listening and have no idea what Google I/O is. Tell us a little bit about why you attended, and some of your biggest takeaways from the event.
Yeah. So basically, Google I/O is Google's annual developer conference where they introduce all the new products that they were building for the past year. So you heard about, Google Home or Google, I forgot about the VR experience. I think it's called Daydream. But
Okay.
all the new products and all the things that you hear about in the news that pop up on Yahoo and WallStreetJournal.com, the big new products that Google has, that's when they introduce that stuff. So if you think about like Apple having a big keynote conference, speaking and hearing whatever, Google
Right.
does the same thing, basically. And
Okay.
so that was my very first time on the West Coast, actually going out to Mountain View, California, on Google's headquarters. And it was really, really eye-opening for me, and really, really engaging. Visually, like mentally, it was awesome. It's a great experience. I met people from all over the world,
Wow.
everywhere from there. I mean, I'm talking about Kenya, Nigeria, China, Canada, Netherlands, Amsterdam, Australia, every single place. Like, it was so amazing being there. And the biggest takeaway I have, from going to that conference is not only being in a place where it's going to be historically like the new world, Mountain View and Palo Alto, being in Silicon Valley where the new world is growing, not only being there, but being around some of the most intelligent people, but also super, very humble, like the most humblest people. I'm talking about this. What clothes that they wear is regular clothes, like Levi's, regular T-shirts, whatever. But they're so intelligent, probably working on the biggest thing that's going to change the world, that is changing the world and will change the world, but very nice, open, and humble people. I think that was amazing to me. I felt like I was in a total new Earth or something. Like, it was an amazing thing. Like, I really felt like I was on Earth 3 or something like that, or 4 or Mars or something. Like, just being in that environment was very inspiring. And, me coming from, like, I would say, I'll never come from a bad neighborhood, but coming from, like, a neighborhood where, or even just an area that is not like that, people don't really work together.
Right.
It's like an eye-opening experience that I think that everyone should experience in some kind of way. You don't have to go to Google I/O, but I don't know, do something that's in your field or something like that. Go to the top developer conference or conference that whatever accountants have or whatever you do. I don't know, but
Right.
I think that was a very cool experience.
Right. And I can definitely, I definitely understand what you're saying. It's and it's different when you come from, and like you said, it's not necessarily a bad environment or anything like that. It's more or less not as open environment, right? You're not surrounded by
not as much exposure.
Right. You're not surrounded by these extremely intelligent people, and I feel that's the same way every time I go out west, right? And I attend like one of the conferences out there, and I've been to quite a few in the past few years, and it's just a different level of it's just a different experience altogether, right? To talk to people at a high level about technology and hearing their experiences and hearing what they're working on and what they're building and being surrounded by that every single day. It's definitely it's definitely eye-opening, and it gives you a sense of kind of gratification just to be around that type of environment.
Right.
Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, it was really it was awesome. I can't really have no words for it. It was really life changing to me. Like, I always wanted to go over to the West Coast. I never knew that I was going to get this chance to do it. I actually got lucky by going there. Like, I never thought last year that I would be going to Google I/O. Never thought I would go to the West Coast. All this stuff happened within a year too, by the way. Everything that's me going to the boot camps and me learning coding, all this happened starting last year. So I mean, that's really a testament to say, if you really want to do something, just go after it. And you don't know what's going to happen to you afterwards. Right. You never know. So,
right.
Yep.
So, all this inspiration, coming your way, and you're experiencing all these inspiring life events, and you want to reciprocate that to Black youths, right? So you want to inspire other Black youths to enter software development career. So what have you been doing to kind of give back, and what are your plans for the future?
So right now, I have a friend that went to General Assembly web development course, and he attended it. He attended FAMU with me, and he just graduated from the course. So when I was over on the West Coast, I paid him a visit, and we got to talking. We had some ideas, and we're like, I think we can teach FAMU students this stuff as well, like at a short level, like maybe like a weekend or a week course of time, but we can give them the basics. Just to say that, hey, bro, you don't have to, or girl, or whatever, you don't have to be a genius to do this. So, and I think that's the biggest thing, or one of the biggest divides in technology, period. It's not software development, it's technology, period. And in a lot of other fields, such as like pharmacy or whatever, it's more so the access and the exposure that these people are children or kids or even adults are not getting. So
Right.
you go to a neighborhood, and if you tell these people, hey, bro, you can do coding, you can learn coding too. It takes no money. Just take a computer. And you don't have to have a computer, a personal computer. Go to the library. And I think this is one of the biggest things, what best opportunities we have had, like for Black youth in the past, maybe like 50 to 60 years, to say you don't have to have nothing, but you can learn this stuff. Right?
Right.
That's never happened before ever in history. So I really want to. So that's one of the first things that we're going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go over to FAMU, talk with them a little bit, see what way they recommend it. But hopefully you have like a start program, like maybe like on the weekends, and we're not 8 weekends, and then we'll teach people how to do basics of coding, the basics of web development, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, very
Right.
basic stuff, just to get the spark going in their head. And then from then on, who knows what's going to happen. Maybe we'll take the program to neighborhoods, or I don't know. But that's one of the biggest things I think we're going to be doing in the upcoming year. And that's one of my visions that I have.
Okay. Okay. Well, much success to you two in pursuing that. And if there's anything Blacks in Technology can help you with, definitely reach out, and we'll try to do our best. We always like to try and support people that are doing great things, especially in our communities, and trying to teach people about technology. And I just kind of want to piggyback off of what you were saying. I mean, it's we've been screaming this for years, that it's more about the access and exposure to technology. And someone said something to me not too long ago. This is our, I guess, our new generation kind of civil rights movement for us, right? You know, getting
You can
into
do anything with technology.
right, right, and
Like,
and and once we are able to get more of our people in our community into tech, I mean, it could really be life changing on a personal level, but as a
the
on a
community.
community level as well. We
When I
can really change communities economically through tech.
mhm. Right. When I first started GA, even before GA, I didn't know any. I sat myself down and said, who do I know that does it? I knew no one, not one person that I knew how to do anything regarding coding. I'm talking about, and I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people from high school, college, my dad's friends, my mom's friends,
Right,
everyone, people younger than me. No one knew how to do this stuff. I knew no professionals. So, just me being that guy that knows coding now, or a little bit, obviously, I'm not a super guy, but somebody that knows enough to teach someone else, I have no choice but to teach someone else. Like, that's my responsibility. There's no way I can just sit here and say, okay, now I know coding, that's it. I would be doing a disservice to my community that I care a lot about, and it's not fair. It's not fair for me to have all this, or not all of it, but have knowledge of something and be knowledgeable of this opportunities and these gifts that were given me and not give them back to other people.
right.
And there's so much opportunity for Black youth in technology. There's no way you cannot succeed. No way. People are begging people to be coders. Like, they're paying so much money in these coding boot camps, and please learn how to do this.
Right,
Like I
right.
said, another reason why people do not know how to do it is the divide. They think that they cannot do it because they're not smart enough. But like I said, anybody can do it.
Right, right. And I love what you um what some of the points that you expressed. um I mean, it's like, I love what you said about you have no choice but to do this, right? It's our crusade, right? It's our calling,
Right?
and we are reaping the benefits of it firsthand, and it makes you just want to grab that person by the collar and say, look, you can, I since founding Blacks in Technology, I've had the benefit of knowing lots of people of color in technology. We have over 2,000 online members. We have a huge, LinkedIn group, a huge, Slack channel full of people, and I've been able to meet a lot of people that way. But
Mhm.
and just the people I know immediately, right? Just the people that I know who live around me and I interact with every day. Besides, um, like my boss, I know probably a handful of people, black people that are in tech. And
Yeah.
that's just the people who I interact with on a day to day. It's probably just my boss. My boss is actually a black man who lives actually in Arlington, Virginia. So, um,
Okay.
and beyond him, I mean, I don't talk to anybody else immediately, right? And that's not. I'm not
But think
talking
about
about
this
all the
though.
people. I'm not talking about all the people, virtually that I know and things like that. I'm talking about on a day to day. The people who I face day to day. I don't know many at all.
Right. But think about this. How many people you know are that have had good ideas growing up or even now? There's a
Oh yeah,
lot of people who have good ideas and are very intelligent.
right.
So we're at a point of history now that whatever you think, you got a good idea, you can make and build it. It don't take nothing else except the computer and your mind.
Right.
Like this has never been a point in history ever where you're able to do like come make an idea real, like actual real life and actually make money from it, or change people's situations, or fix a problem in your neighborhood, or there's so much stuff that you can do that I know that black people are so genius at doing. There's no way you cannot pass it on. No way. There's no way. And the people that have this knowledge, that are software engineers at Yahoo or Google or wherever else, they have to do it. But it's not anyone else's responsibility if you're not in the community. But if you are in the community and you are a black person, you have no choice. Or you'll be somebody that I want to associate myself with. Like you have to do it. You have to do it.
Yeah.
Without
Yeah.
question.
I definitely can agree with that. I feel a sense of like I said, it's my crusade. It's what I feel that I have what my calling is to reach out and try to expose others uh, to the tech industry, right? I don't
Right.
feel right if I'm not doing that, and I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. Um, but I know it's mine, and I know it's something that I'm passionate about and want to continue to do, and hope to see, you know, not only Blacks in Technology grow and expand, but bring more people into the fold, and eventually, like I tell everybody, I don't want Blacks in Technology to have to exist in the future, right? If we do what we're
Mhm.
supposed to be doing, and this goes for not just Blacks in Technology, but for every other tech organization whose vision and mission is similar to Blacks in Technology, we should hope that we don't have to exist 10 to 20 years down the line, and that we're able to affect the numbers that greatly, and to where you know there's not this disparity between the number of people of color in tech and others. So definitely
Right.
continue on your mission, and we're always here to support you in whatever you do. So definitely hit us up if you need assistance. Before we get out of here,
Awesome.
any last words you want to say to our audience?
Yeah. So I do want to have a say like a last word that number one, if you ever thinking about coding or uh, just try it out. Go on codeacademy.com. It's free. Go to HTML, CSS, do that code, do the course. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But you're gonna like at least try it. And number two, I would say, which is very important, you do not have to be a genius to learn how to code. It's not rocket science. It's hard, but it's not rocket science. You can do it. Also, number three, you don't have to be a quote unquote like lame or nerd. Or, that doesn't make you none of this stuff like a nerd geek or just because you know how to do computer stuff or technology. I mean, you can be the guy or girl that's on the scene and having fun, going to the clubs or whatever, if that's what you like to do, or just be around people, and you don't have to not be like some kind of social outcast. And sometimes they portray you as this geeky kind of nerdy kind of person when that's really not who you are. So
Right.
Everyone can do it. Everyone and anyone should at least try, and if they don't like it, then okay. But it's not rocket science. Try to do it, and just try your hardest at it. It's worth it.
Excellent, excellent. And I'm gonna elaborate a little bit further on what you just said, because what you just said is one of the things that I like to stress as a point, and that's about this perception. Um, Blacks in technology, we've always focused on changing perceptions, but not just from an outside viewpoint, right? From an inside viewpoint, because people within our own community have these perceptions about people who are into computers and things like that. And I always tell people, if I ever go to a talk and talk to some black youths or to a room full of black people, I immediately let them know some of the things that I like, some of my interests. It may
Yeah.
start with hip hop, and it goes on to
Yeah.
sports, and it may
Right.
go into comic books. And I tell people all the time that these are the things that I like to do. They don't make me, or I should say, it doesn't put me in a category. I put myself,
Yeah.
in my own category, right? And these are just some of the
Right.
things that collectively make up who I am. But
Yeah.
I don't want people, because people can get the perception that you have
Catch
to
it.
change yourself because you get into
No, you don't.
technology, and that's
Yeah,
so
no,
far
you
from the
don't.
truth. Right.
And everyone's not like that. Like everyone's not like that. I would say even for myself, yes, me growing up, I would consider myself a nerd of sorts. Like I was interested in playing games and stuff and doing all the quote unquote nerdy stuff. But honestly, like at the end of the day, I'm a regular person. Like even now, you go back to FAMU, I was cool there. Like me and my friends had big parties. I wasn't like no guy with no glasses and stuff. I was doing all the cool guy stuff. You used to ask my name, go back to FAMU and say, do you know this person? Oh yeah, I definitely know him. Like I was a cool guy. Still am a cool guy. Like I'm in DC. I go to like cool part, like the quote unquote cool part, all that stuff. But hey, I also know how to do this too. So just understand that you have to be typecast. You don't got to be like some kind of dork if you do technology. No, a lot of people that I know in technology, they cool. They regular people. They not just like some are dorks, but I mean there's dorks in every industry. But it's just, I mean, like I think that this notion of if you're intelligent and you're a black person, you got to be some kind of lame. That has to be like dispelled. There has to be exit out of everything for black people's mentality. That's not just technology. I'm talking about just everything. Just because you're intelligent and you're black, you can be cool as well, like legit cool, not just cool like Obama or Michelle Obama cool or whatever. Like she's cool.
Right.
I'm saying like,
Right. No,
you get
I
what I'm
get what
saying. Like she can be like,
I get what you're saying.
you can be Yo Gotti and Drake and be intelligent. You can be all them people.
right. I think it's the word cool is subjective nowadays anyhow, right? Yeah, because you know
Right.
to a lot of people, heck, Steve Jobs was cool to a lot of people. You
Yeah, he was
know,
cool to me.
even
He was dope to me.
and Bill Gates is cool to a lot of people. These people are
Those are my
billionaires.
heroes.
Why wouldn't they be cool, right? But I think
Those are my heroes. Right.
right at times we have this definition of cool or whatever that that we think that we have to fit into. And what people don't understand is that we need to start expanding on what it is to be, if it's cool, then that's expand on that.
Being smart is cool. Being intelligent, that's cool.
Right, exactly. So we have to start, breaking out of that mode or that box of, what everyone else depicts you as being cool, and we need to create our own thing, and that's and
Be
I
yourself.
feel
That's
right.
cool.
I feel that as being a black man, an engineer, I feel I'm doing that. I feel I'm doing my part in dispelling the stereotypes and the myths about what an engineer, or what cool, or what lame, or whatever label you wanna attach to it is, because I do
Right.
things my own way. I talk the way I want to talk. If I
Right.
go out, if I happen to go out, I go out and I have a good time. I'm not afraid to get out there, and if I want to dance, I'm going to dance. I'm not going to let anything stop
Right.
me from being who I am, and that includes, what you think being cool is, and what I think being a geek is. That it's none of that is going to matter. So I think more
Right.
people
Right.
need to adhere to that, and start breaking down these barriers. Um, Before we get
Yep.
out of here, how can people follow you if they want to get in contact with you, or if they want to follow you on Twitter?
Yeah, so it's real easy. I don't do too much like Twitter names. My Twitter name is Kory J. Campbell. That's KORYJ Campbell, like the soup. CAMPBELL, all one word. That's all the way, same way on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Everything is the same. So if you want to
Okay.
find, you can really just Google me, and then I'll pop up.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thanks a lot, Kory, for joining us tonight. I definitely appreciate hearing your story, hearing your journey, and hearing where you'll be going in the future. And like I said, reach out to Blacks Technology if you need any support or anything.
Awesome. Thank you.
Take care.
Yep.
So that's it for this episode of the Blacks in Technology Bit Tech Talk podcast. I want to thank our guest, Kory Campbell. If you like what you heard tonight, you want to let us know, you have any suggestions or comments, email them to us at contactus@blacksandtechnology.net. And join us in a couple of weeks, where our next guest is going to be Melissa James. She is the founder and CEO of Tech Connection. Tech Connection is a recruitment platform that supports the professional development of untapped technical talent. They bridge the gap between underrepresented technical talent and technology companies. They offer individualized career planning and job placement to candidates, and they believe that introspective leadership coupled with proper planning is the key to career success. They strive to deliver the best talent to high-performing and innovative teams. You can check them out at www.thetechconnectioninc.com. So that's going to be in 2 weeks, and same bat time, same bat channel. Remember, tech yourself before you wreck yourself. Take care. Have a good night.
Blacks in Technology.
Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology.